Hi, it's Teacher RJ, and this is a P6 Science class. Welcome to our first online learning. What is the one thing that we cannot live without? In P3, we'll learn that living things need food, water, and air to survive. All of the things are found in our environment. As we also learned in our previous chapter, we humans have a very close relationship with our environment. We constantly have interactions with both living things and non-living things in our surroundings. We depend on our environment with things which occur naturally on Earth. When we talked about things that are available on Earth or in nature, things that are found in and on around the earth, and things that sustain our lives, or things that makes up other things that we may enjoy in our lives. All of these things that nature provides are called natural resources. So today's lesson, everyone is expected to first be able to explain how man interacts with his environment. Second, show an understanding that man depends on Earth's natural resources for his survival. And third, explain the effect of natural resource depletion to the environment and to man. What is natural resources? Aside from what I have mentioned a while ago, a natural resource is what people can use, which comes from natural environment. Everything that people use, things that people use, things that we use to keep us alive, or things that makes our lives better. These things are categorized into two. They include renewable and non-renewable resources, which we are going to talk on, on the next slide. And these things, which we call natural resources, plays a very important role in our survival. Things like solar energy from the sun, air, wind, water, tides in the ocean, soil, plants, even animals that we raise are considered renewable source of energy or resource. Renewable resources are natural resources that are replenished naturally in a short amount of time. They don't take a lifespan or a lifetime to get replenished. Solar energy, for example, gets replenished every day. Air is just around us. And wind, when there is an even amount of heat in the different places on Earth, the air moves and thus wind forms. Water only takes a water cycle to replenish our supply of fresh water in the lakes and rivers, tides, soil, plants, and animals, and so on. But these things we call solar fossil fuels, oil, coal, natural gas, metallic minerals such as iron, copper, aluminum, and gold, or non-metallic minerals such as salt and phosphates, are considered non-renewable resources. This form or type of natural resources are, when we use them, they are gone forever. We cannot replace them, or if they are replaced naturally, they take more than a lifetime to get replenished. Fossil fuels, for example, takes millions, if not billions of years, to get replenished. And that's why we call them and consider them non-renewable resources. Now, how do we use these resources? How people interact with these resources? Air, as we know from P5, is made up of different gases. It contains 78% of nitrogen, 21% of oxygen, and 1% of other gases, and that includes water vapor. Now, these are very important first for plants to carry out photosynthesis. Without carbon dioxide, plants will be able to carry out photosynthesis, and thus we won't have any oxygen to breathe in and carry out respiration. And also, other living things use oxygen for respiration, including plants. And other plants also use air or wind to disperse their seeds. When air is heated unevenly around the Earth, it moves and forms wind. Some areas of the world, such as coastal regions, have more wind than others because terrain and area is relatively flat and has few obstacles to block the wind from blowing. And thus, people build wind turbine to harness wind energy and convert it into electrical energy useful to men. Forests are important to life on Earth. Trees and forests take carbon dioxide from the air. They filter carbon dioxide, they remove and lessen carbon dioxide, and make it easier to breathe. And in response, they also give out oxygen from photo or through photosynthesis for other living things to carry out respiration and to keep us alive. Forests are also habitats of many organisms, such as squirrels and birds. Trees provide thousands of food products, such as firewood, flooring, houses, and even food or papers. Solar energy. Solar energy is from the sun. The sun is the closest star to Earth, and it brings heat and light to the world. Some areas of the world, such as those closer to the equator, like Thailand, receives more sunlight than the others, which makes us more advantage or have more advantage in utilizing this form of energy and convert it into electrical energy that would make our lives even better. The sun shines naturally, but it is not affected by human activity. It can be used to produce electrical energy, as I have mentioned. However, its intensity varies with location, season, and is not available at night. Not to mention that human beings use this energy to dry out their clothes, to warm them up, dry crops, or to carry out photosynthesis for plants. Fossil fuels. Fossil fuels have been underground for millions of years. They take millions of years to form. They are the product of fossilized remains of dead plants and animals that have been exposed to the heat and pressure deep within the Earth's crust. There are many types of fossil fuels, such as petroleum, which we use to run vehicles, natural gas, same thing, we use it to run vehicles or power up and generate electricity, and coal, which is our main supply to generating electricity. It has been a great help in growing cities, and it has made cities very rich. One of that example is the Middle East, which has grown very fast in a short period of time. Now, as human interactions or as human interact with its environment, it has positive and negative impacts. It has positive and negative impacts on our geosphere, which is our land formation or the bodies of land. It also has positive and negative impacts to our hydrosphere or the water bodies. It has positive and negative impacts to our atmosphere, the air above the sky, which protects us from the ultraviolet rays from the sun, and also on our biosphere, which keeps biodiversity of the earth. Now, first, agriculture. Land is very important to grow the plants for food. Without land, it would be difficult for us to grow foods necessary for like grains or wheat or rice or vegetables. But as we keep planting the same plants over and over again at the same location, these may cause depletion of the nutrients in the soil. When that happens, it will make the soil less fertile. And when the soil is less fertile, it would be hard for the soil to support the growing plants or crops that you plant in it, which would cause the plant or which would cause the depletion of our food resources. Mining. Materials like metals and minerals are obtained from the underground. We use them to build bridges, skyscrapers, or even ships or jewelries. But once they are removed from the ground, we cannot replace them. And that could result to a depletion of metal and mineral resources. Not to mention, they also damages the natural formation of that specific land. Deforestation is a result when the amount of trees that are cut down is greater than the amount of the trees that are being planted. Now, forest provides us a lot of materials. We cut down trees to produce materials like papers or woods for furnitures. But we have to make sure that in order for us to prevent the depletion of these resources, we have to plant and replace the trees that we cut. Land pollution happens when, as the population grows really fast, we produce a large quantity of waste materials. Now, if it's a biodegradable waste, then it has a minimal problems because they easily disintegrate and break down naturally in a short span of time. However, if humans keep producing a lot of non-biodegradable waste like plastics and cellophanes, these wastes do not break down easily. They don't break in a short period of time, and they take a lot of time, millions if not billions of years, to break down. They take up a lot of space, and aside from that, they also produce smell, which causes an air pollution. And most people nowadays just burn these plastics and adds up to again air pollution. Hydrosphere. How do people impact our hydrosphere? Now we have a lot of water reservoir nowadays. Water reservoir are very useful. They're very useful in generating electricity that is clean because it doesn't involve burning. However, as you build a lot of water reservoir, it also displaces a lot of animals from their natural habitat. As the water level in that water reservoir increases, it removes a lot of animals from their own habitat. Not to mention that those marine animals in that specific level has been limited in their movement. Now they cannot freely flow or move wherever they want, and that actually prevents them from evolving or prevents them from keeping the biodiversity in that location. Irrigation. Irrigation is very helpful for farmers, especially those farmlands that are far away from water bodies, such as rivers. But as you lead and make ways of this water and remove this water from its natural current, it may cause and change and alter the pH level and salinity of this water. As they passes through a different location, they might carry with them new minerals or more salt minerals and bring it back to a bigger water bodies, like such as river or ocean, and which changes its pH level. And that could be hazardous and affect marine animals in that water bodies. Water pollution happens when factories dumped harmful chemicals directly to the water. Algal bloom occurs in the same way when animal and human waste materials are dumped directly in the water. When that happens, bacteria grows rapidly. These ways encourages the growth of bacteria in the water bodies, which can also encourage the growth of algal bloom. Now, as algae grow fast enough and speed that human being can control, they will actually compete for oxygen with other marine animals that lived in that location, including fish. And when that happens, it depletes the oxygen level, causing suffocation and fish kill. Atmosphere. As population grow, our need for materials and energy increases. And as it increases, power plants or factories increases their production and keeps burning fossil fuels. As they keep burning fossil fuels, they create and produce harmful gases we call pollutants to the air. As this air goes into, or as this pollutants goes and mixes and be dissolved in the air, it forms and causes haze, which makes the air difficult to breathe, and that would be causing health problems. Aside from that, when these harmful chemicals or pollutants or gas pollutants are dissolved in rainwater, it may cause the formation of the acid rain, which will damage buildings or structures that are made of stones and metals. It will also kill living things such as trees and wild animals. Not to mention, they may also result water pollution that would kill marine animals. Greenhouse gases has been our problem for how many decades? As we keep it burning fossil fuels like cars and power plants and burning other organic materials, it produces carbon dioxide, which we consider greenhouse gas, so one of the greenhouse gases. Now, these greenhouse gases will reflect sunlight back to the earth instead of allowing them to escape from our atmosphere, which causes the increase of the Earth's temperature. Biosphere. Going back to overpopulation, as population grow, our consumption also grow. And that would mean we have to fish and gather more food, and that includes fishing. Now, overfishing is a result when the amount of fish being catch or killed is greater than the amount of fish being reproduced. Fish is a renewable resource, but if we catch more fish faster than the fish can reproduce, then that may result to or that may endanger some species of fish or marine animals like shark or tuna. Coral reef bleaching. Coral reefs are very important. They filter toxins from the water and make water habitable for marine animals, especially small fishes. Small fishes are very important to keep up the food chain and marine diversity. Now, as our environment changes, as our temperature increases, our coral reefs changes as well. Coral reefs are very sensitive with temperature. When the temperature increases and when the amount of toxins in the water increases, it damages and kills our coral reefs. When that happens, it results to coral reef bleaching. When coral reef bleaching happens, small fishes will now have no habitat to live, and the amount of toxins in the water will make water less habitable for small fishes. When small fishes die, it may damage the food chains in our marine diversity. Now, as young as you are, what do you think must be done to conserve our natural resources? That would be our lesson on the next video. To recap what we learned today, first, we learned that man interacts with living and non-living things in his environment. We also learned that man depends on his environment for natural resources to survive. Third, we learned that natural resources are things people use which occur naturally on Earth. Fourth, renewable resources takes short amount of time to be replenished. And fifth, non-renewable resources takes very long time to be replenished. And last but not least, some of man's activities have a negative impact on his environment. Thank you for listening and see you in our activity.